And welcome to JJDrones. I don't know why the music didn't play, but now I got it. And welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome. Any of you who are new, welcome to the show. We've got an interview with Kim Conradt from the Wisconsin Motor Carriers Association today. And that's pretty much all we have. But we're going to be taking questions from the chat about what she does, and we're also going to be taking phone calls later on in the show. So be ready for that. A couple of announcements. Number one, I just wanted everybody to know that I talked with Bob from Time to Get Going yesterday, and his father passed away on Monday. So anybody that knows Bob, go ahead and you can send him your condolences. I also I put out a post on Facebook yesterday for people to go ahead and donate to his Buy Me a Coffee link. And so if you can do that, help him out. I mean, he had to drive from Southern California all the way up to Wyoming, so any little bit helps. Also, again, if you want one of your videos featured on my website, go to Jason at JJDrones360.com and send me an email. Let me know that you want your video featured for the week on my website. And then also you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JJDrones if you want to financially support this channel. Currently, right now, everything is paid for by me. So any little bit helps. Minimum donation on that site is $5. So if you're interested, feel free to go there. Now, without further ado, I'm going to bring up the guest of the hour. Her name is Kim Conradt. She is the Safety Programs Coordinator for the Wisconsin Motor Carriers. So welcome, Kim, to the program.
Thanks for doing this, Jason. How cool is this?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So why don't you give us a little bit of information about who you are, how you got into the trucking industry, a little bit about your career and what you're doing now.
Well, I've been in the trucking industry for more than 30 years. I hate to tell you the exact date because that kind of dates me a little bit. But it was a career change a long time ago. And once, I guess, diesel started flowing through my veins, it never stopped. And I started at Transtar in Wapaka in probably 1990 in recruiting. In those days, we would get so many applications that if someone wrote in green ink, we would just give them a TNT letter, like thanks but no thanks. We didn't have to look at them. There was like just a stack of applicants that it's crazy when you think about it. Now you can't even find the drivers, but back then we didn't want to go through all the applicants. There was too many. So we started there, and I moved into operations, and operations was kind of my sweet spot. And just worked in trucking for all the time. And I've always been on the operations side. I also have my CDL. I was grandfathered in. So when I owned my own trucks and had my own company, I would take loads and deliver them when the guys wanted off. So that was always a little interesting. But so I've kind of been on every side of the truck. And in 2018, someone was retiring from the position here. And I thought, well, we'll try the other side. And I guess that the first couple of weeks that I was on this side of trucking instead of operations, and when my phone wasn't ringing all night long, I had to keep looking at it to make sure that it was still working. I thought, is it broken? Why isn't it working? But so I don't think I'll ever make a turn back to the operations side, but it's been a great transition. All the knowledge that I have amassed through the 30 some years really plays a big role in all the safety programs that we run in Wisconsin. We have, as you're aware, you're one of my road team captains. We have the Wisconsin road team. They go out to the different schools. They do some other events, but they go to schools and they teach the driver's education kids how to share the road with trucks. Maybe know about the no zones, hopefully don't text and drive. Maybe I always say learn how to drive in a roundabout, because I think even more people need to know how to drive in a roundabout. So you guys go out and give your knowledge to the kids getting their driver's license, and hopefully if something that you said to one of them in the classroom just makes them make better choices when they're on the road, that's all we ask for. So I'm in charge of the Wisconsin Road Team. I also have in charge of the President Safe Driver Club. I need to start one here in California. Yes, it's interesting. Every state used to have a road team, and I think that now there's only about 6 or 8 of them that still have road teams available. It's really important, though, that they get out and teach the kids and everybody. In addition to driver's education classes, I take road team captains to job fairs, kids zones. It was a kids expo a couple weeks ago, just so that we can get the word out about trucking and how hard you guys work, how rewarding it is. I always tell the kids that they get to travel and get paid for it. But back to the President Safe Driver Club luncheons, we have a President Safe Driver Club in Wisconsin, which this year was the 25th anniversary of it. And drivers have to, just let me see here, I have a military. It depends upon how old you are. It depends upon how old you are. The question is, I have a military CDL. How would I go about getting a civilian CDL in Illinois? And there's a few different things that take into account. Number one is obviously after February 7th, there was the ELDT law that went into effect, and depending upon what you had before that date, it will tell you what you need after that date. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Paul Cole, pop in.
No, that's fine. Paul C says you need to start one in California. Now they do have groups like this all around the country, don't they?
The road team captains, so there's the America's Road Team, which is run by the ATA, and then there's each state can have their road team, but not every state does have the road team. There's only I think less than 10 right now that still have their own state road team. So we're very unique in the fact that we do a lot of extra safety programs that some of the other states don't do. For the President Safe Driver Club, that was started 25 years ago, and we are the only state that still does that. And that's rewarding drivers for their safe driving. In order for them to qualify, they have to stay with their employer. For the first 3 years, they have to go without an accident, incident, not even a seatbelt violation, anything, even in their own vehicle. So right. After that, they're in the club for the first year, and then each year they just go on and on and on and see how long we want to keep them in the club forever. We have some guys who are in there for 24 years, so that basically they've gone 27 years without an accident or incident in their own personal vehicle, or even a seatbelt violation, anything. So it's really cool. So each year we go twice a year. We do some banquets and some luncheons, and we honor the drivers and just say thanks for doing a great job. It's really probably the best part of my job. I get to really congratulate the guys and honor them for being out there and keeping the highways safe.
That's awesome. I mean, just every time that I go to one of those drivers' banquets, I mean, just amazed with the amount of people that are there that are safety conscious, and just what you guys do at the Wisconsin Motor Carriers to promote safety and to recognize the safe drivers is truly a testament to the organization. And Kim, you go above and beyond to the call of duty pretty much every single day, because everybody and the organization and the road team just absolutely loves you, and you're a friend to everybody, and you just make everything seem to work, even though sometimes you're a little bit overwhelmed with what you have to take care of.
Yeah, it's I want it to be perfect for you guys. I want it to be perfect for the drivers. I don't want it to just be a little event. I want it to be a grand event because it's a terrific thing. You guys are doing the heavy lifting. You guys are out there delivering the freight. You're away from your families. You're keeping the highways safe. And if I can just do a little bit to let you know how much we appreciate what you do, that's the easy part.
So, over the years, what do you think technology has done to help increase safety in trucking?
Well, especially with the electronic brake, with the brake stabilization, with the adaptive cruise control, with different even some people are not going to like it, but with the cameras in the truck, there's a lot of things that back in my day, I shouldn't, if I can actually say that, back in my day, I never thought that would happen. But it's really every day that they can find an extra way to keep somebody safe, we need to do it. I know that there's a lot of regulations and a lot of rules out there, but a lot of things have come out of a tragedy or something where they could find that we could do something better. And I think that we should always try to do something better and try to, like I said, add, the adaptive cruise control so that your truck is going to automatically slow down, or, the cameras in the truck. I can't tell you how many times, even, sad, even a lot of companies say, I don't want that camera in the truck. I don't want anybody seeing me. Well, quite honestly, I used to tell the drivers, and Jason would know this, I don't want to see you in your skivvies either. But what it does save everybody is I've had, on a couple different instances, I had people who were going to commit suicide in front of the truck, for example, and having that camera there exonerated the driver 100% because the camera showed for the 8 seconds before and the 4 seconds after what was going on. And a prime example, it happened in Missouri. And the guy just was crouched on the side of the road, all in black, jumped up in front of the truck, and he was doing suicide by truck. And it's he said, she said, but when you have the video evidence, it cleared the driver 100%. Now, did it ever clear that driver from the fact that he hit somebody and somebody lost their life through no fault of his own, just that he happened to be the truck that was there that this guy picked. But I can't even tell you how many times that these cameras have cleared somebody of to make the driver would say, I wasn't doing this, or I wasn't doing this. And there's the video that shows exactly what had happened, or someone turned in front of them, or a deer jumped out, or whatever. The camera is your friend as much as it's, yes, they do. The camera's your friend as much as a lot of the drivers say, I don't want the cameras. If someone is brake checking you in front of, you can push the button and get the ID of the driver who's brake checking you, so that if there's a problem, you can.
Right, that does happen. that happens more often than I would like to admit, but there's a lot of people that think that it's probably a good idea just to sit there and brake check a semi.
An 80,000-pound vehicle that takes 3 times as long to stop as you do. Yeah, that's real smart.
Right, and there was also somebody that put somebody put a Facebook post out, or no, it was a TikTok, asking if something would seriously happen to them if they would just brake check a truck. It was a TikTok video, and I'm really hoping that it doesn't become one of those. Thank you, Devin AA. I appreciate that. And hi, travel freely. But anyways, I hope that doesn't become the new TikTok challenge, because they come out with those stupid TikTok challenges where people put their lives in jeopardy. And I mean, when you do something like that with a semi, you're not dealing with your own safety. You're dealing with the safety of the driver as well. So just don't do that.
Not just the driver, the other drivers on the road, because by the time
Right.
you try to keep the truck under control, it's next to impossible. You guys do it all the time. I know you do it on a daily basis. I've been on the end where I reviewed videos and saw guys get out of incredible situations that just, through some crazy traffic in Chicago, or, like, how in the heck did he avoid that? You just don't even know. So you guys do a fantastic job out there. I just, all the tools that we can have to help you do your job out there, it's important that we get those tools on your truck, or, in different training things, or whatever we can do to help you do your job out there safely, pick up your freight, deliver your freight, and make it home to mama or daddy or the kids. That's what we all need to do.
Okay. I just got, I'm going to lower my microphone just a little bit. If that's better, Divin AA, let me know. So you guys bring not only drivers, but you also bring people from trucking organizations to the scale houses. You call them the SWEF visits. What are those?
So we have 5 different SWEF visits generally during the year. The scale and weight enforcement facilities, different locations in Wisconsin. We have all the bells and whistles that they have in the SWEF facilities here in Wisconsin. It's phenomenal. You can be driving, as you're driving across, just driving on the road, they can feel that they can tell that your tire is hot, so they can tell you that it's low pressure. You can tell that your brakes are heated, if you're having issues, the thermodynamics, all the bells and whistles. And if Captain Carl were on here, he would tell you the exact name of every piece of equipment that is in there. But the one thing that it does, I've noticed, whenever we bring drivers, we bring mechanics, we bring operations people, we bring insurance people. They come to visit the SWEF visits. They see the behind the scenes of what these inspectors see. And I just had a senator's office that came with us this last week, and he was amazed at how many times the inspector does try to let the driver get legal, or let the driver, fix things that might be, adjust the weight, or, try to get something right, because they're not out there to say, haha, got you. That isn't why they're there. They're there to keep the highways safe. And they open up their house, their SWEP visit to us. They open it up. They let you look in the computer. They tell you exactly what they're looking at. You can, in the pit, the truck goes over the pit, and you can go down underneath the truck. And we were at one that had 3 brakes of adjustment and a brake chamber hanging. He was out driving.
Geez.
I'm not. Oh. I walked by, and I was like, before we even did the inspection, I walked by, and I was like, I looked at Lieutenant Berger, and I said, that guy's going to be here for a while. He's like, what? And I said, look at it. And there it was. The brake chamber was hanging down. I could see it. It was crazy. And he was out driving. Do you think he's going to be able to, if somebody brake checks him, do you think he's going to be able to stop?
No.
3 brakes out of an adjustment and another one hanging. So that's what, when you go to the SWEF visits, you get to learn the other side. A lot of people think that the State Patrol or the DOT are the big bad bullies, but they're really not. They're just out there. They want the same thing you want. They want you to go home to mama and daddy and your kids and be safe. So that's what we're all together. We're all a team working together to keep the road safe. And that's the programs that I get to run, and in conjunction with the Department of Transportation, with the Safety Patrol, with everybody, everything that we can do to work together to keep our roads safe. That's what we need to do. And I love every minute of it.
So pretty much what you're saying is that in order for this whole thing to work, we basically need to get the public and the transportation industry both on the same side, so that everybody knows what the other person is doing, so that it just increases the safety for everybody.
Absolutely. There's times I'll have carriers say, why did the inspector only give so and so a warning? Well, the inspector thinks that he's doing them a favor by only giving him a warning, but that warning shows up on the CSA rate, and he didn't get fined, but it still shows up on the CSA, not the drivers, but the companies. So,
Right.
there's times that not everybody on each side of you know what you're doing, they know what they're doing, but maybe the things don't go together. And the more visits we have together and we talk together, they're like, oh yeah, that is the right way to do it, or maybe we should do that right. Right now, we're working on changing a thing that's only in Wisconsin, and it really doesn't affect you or anybody, but it does affect like the hot shots or the guys who are hauling the trailers with their pickups. There's the registered vehicle weight, and there's the gross vehicle weight. And in Wisconsin, if you happen to register your vehicle, your pickup truck, if you happen to, and you're going to pull a trailer or whatever, and you happen to register it at too high of a weight, maybe you're registering at 20,000 pounds when it's like 13,000 pounds, and then you pull on a trailer, and if you're at over 2601, you're going to have a CDL for that. When you just messed up and registered it at the wrong rate. At any other state, it's not a problem, but in Wisconsin, it is. By talking it through. But if somebody from Illinois or Minnesota came into Wisconsin with that same thing, they wouldn't get a ticket. So we're working on some things that we can fix, and all work together to make it a fair playing field.
Right, and that's what people need. They just need to know what the rules are and have a clear playing field, what they're supposed to do. Because if you don't know the rules of the game, how are you supposed to play it?
Exactly. It's just they're trying to clear up the other thing they're trying to clear up right now is personal conveyance. PC moves are the number one thing that is causing the biggest violations for everybody. Again, on the scale visit, there was a container that guy, he picked up a load and picked up a container in Illinois, took it up to Minneapolis, delivered it up there, and PC'd, did personal conveyance back to Beloit, where he came across the scale, where he was actually back and then going back up, because he was going back to pick up another load. He thought he could do it. But so that's another, the PC is there for you to get home and get your break. And, so companies really need to have a policy in place that says no PC, or really define what it is, because it's not for you to do any furtherance of commerce.
Right, and that's the biggest part about it, is no furtherance of commerce. So if you're at a customer or something and you run out of time because the customer took forever unloading you at the dock, that's to get you to the truck stop. Or if you go to one truck stop and it's full, you have no place to park, it's to get you to the nearest truck stop. Doesn't mean the nearest truck stop going down your route. That means it's the nearest truck stop to that location. Drivers get confused with that, and I understand why they get confused with it, but the personal conveyance is out there for the drivers to give them a little bit more flexibility. But on the other hand, you don't want to abuse it, because the FMCSA can pull it away just as fast as they gave it to us.
They're really getting to that point, talking about it. I'm serious. I would say that hopefully all companies have a PC policy that defines exactly what it is, defines exactly what it means, how, no more than 30 minutes, no more than, whatever. They need to, whatever that policy is, they need to have it, and they need to define it. And a lot of companies' policy is no personal conveyance, none.
Right. And I understand why, because that opens them up to liability in the end if the drivers aren't using it correctly. Now, the other thing that I noticed in the news just today, and I'm sure that it's probably been out there for a while, and it's probably on your guys' radar, is the fact that the Supreme Court is going to be hearing a case from the Teamsters about trying to eliminate the ability to split your 30-minute break between on-duty time and off-duty time, and to bring the 150-mile radius for the short haul back to 100. Have you guys heard about that?
A little bit. We've been doing some research on it. Don't know how far it's going to go. I think there's a whole different thing with like the union part of it, because I think that they get paid. I think it goes by why they paid, and if they're on break or off break or on duty or off duty, there's a different pay scale or something like that. I don't know. We're gonna look into it. We have a couple. We do lobby heavily. With some. Obviously, it's at the Supreme Court now, but the ATA gets involved. We get involved, and there's a lot of legislation that we shut down. We shut down here, and like just as it comes up. And I don't know why they would want to fight it. I know that California wants to fight the break. I just in my mind, I can't wrap my mind around it, so it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But everybody has their own reason why they want to do things, and we just got to get to the bottom of what they're really asking.
Right.
So, I know, like here in Wisconsin, we lobbied to keep tolling out of Wisconsin. There's no tolling in Wisconsin because Wisconsin motor carriers lobbied to keep tolling out of Wisconsin.
Paul says, again, the problem of trucking, no one will make up their mind. It's like the drivers would be trapped in the truck. Simple fix, give drivers 2 hours of PC time. Well, they're not going to do that, because you're basically saying that, the driver gets to basically do whatever they want for 2 hours. The closest thing that they did to 2 hours of PC time was they extended the, what is it? The adverse weather conditions, 2 hours. So you could extend it 2 hours past your 14-hour clock. Correct. If you had to do so. Now, a PC time for Jenny and Steve at Stormy Sky Rail Productions as it's personal conveyance. Why don't you explain that, Kim?
So personal conveyance means, every time that a driver is driving their truck or not driving their truck, there's either on duty driving, on duty not driving, off duty, or sleeper. And what personal conveyance is doing for them is it's taking them really out of all that. And they're saying that even though they're driving the truck an hour or 2 hours or 30 minutes, that's not counting towards their driving time or their on-duty time. So this personal conveyance, it's like basically if you got empty at a place and you didn't have any other, you weren't going to pick up another load, you weren't going to do anything, you just got unloaded and you were just going home for your time off, your 36 hours, whatever, you could PC, and you didn't have the time to make it there. You were like at the end of your day, you didn't have any time, but you just wanted to get home. You could do personal conveyance to get home and take your time off. There, you're not advancing. There's an example where you're not in the furtherance of commerce. You're going home, you're taking a break, but you don't have the hours to get there. You don't have the time to get there, but they want you to be able to get home and take your time off. So that was the little way that they can say, all right, driver, you're going home, go home. But that's what it was meant to do. That's what it was meant to do. If you needed to get back to the yard to be done for the day, and you were just not quite there, it's not for you to take those hours off the clock and then go pick up another load and start again. It's not what it's meant to do.
Now we've got two proposals in Congress right now for driver retention and driver hiring. We've got one proposal that was basically giving a brand new driver $10,000 tax refund, and experienced driver that drives full time $7,500 tax refund, well, not refund, but tax credit to go towards a refund. And they plan on doing that for the next 2 years if it passes. The other thing that they were talking about doing, what was it? I'll let you comment on that one, but I have to remember what the other one was. Oh, overtime. Bringing back overtime for drivers. And I don't think that would really affect drivers that are over the road. But I think that's more of a situation where people that are doing short haul hourly, that they would be eligible for overtime.
I think I'll take the second one first. The overtime thing is, each company knows what they can pay their drivers, knows what their payroll can be. And if they want to give their driver overtime, they can give their driver overtime. If they don't, and obviously if a driver doesn't like this policy where there's no overtime, they can go to another company where they can find one, because we all know that every trucking company is looking for somebody, and every trucking company has a different pay schedule or a different way they're paying. So I don't know why Congress thinks they have to legislate things like this. It drives me insane. It's back to the day where you don't see kids tied up to sewing machines for 20 hours a day. We don't need to legislate that anymore. Once upon a time, yes, not anymore. And it's a free, it's an at-will employment. If you don't like what the pay policy is or whatever, you can go and find a different place, or you can go talk to your manager, your supervisor, and say, hey, every time I do this load, I end up working an extra 3 hours. I want to get paid an extra 3 hours. There's a lot of different things we can do without having to get Congress involved in that portion of it. That's my own personal.
Oh, and I completely understand that. It just seems like by doing the whole overtime thing, and I mean, we're already running into a situation where trucking companies are going out of business because of fuel prices. I mean, are you really going to price these? I mean, that's going to affect the smaller trucking companies. This isn't going to affect the bigger, large carriers.
Do you think that part of this inflation and the prices that you're seeing in the store isn't exactly directly related to the higher fuel prices and the $100,000 driver wages that you're seeing now? Because the drivers, to be competitive, for companies to be competitive, they need to pay them sign-on bonus, everything. So what's happening? Their prices are raising to cover paying for this, and then what's happening? Then the price of goods and services is raising to cover this. And then all of a sudden your McDonald's cheeseburger isn't $1 anymore; it's $1.50 or whatever it is. I don't even know, but there's a cause and effect. And all this regulation is, you're going to see a bunch of cause and effect. I want everybody to have a fair wage. I want drivers to be compensated the way they should be. Jason, you've known me a very long time. I've always fought for drivers to be compensated very fairly and to, be paid for what they do.
You put your neck out there. That's for sure. You absolutely have. Yes, you have.
And I will always do that, but I don't think that we need to legislate it. I think, how it's like oh, they should cancel this show or they should cancel this show. How do you do that? You shut the channel off and then nobody watches it and then it goes away. So if somebody's not treating drivers right, you think that word isn't going to get out there, and they're going to go to another company that is going to treat them right. There's a way to do it without having to legislate it. That's the thing that drives me insane. But then going back to the, I forgot what the first one was, Jason. How about that?
Well, drivers talk.
I used to always say, don't telegraph, don't telephone, tell a driver.
That's right. I mean, pretty much, there comes a point where the pay scale goes up so much that the companies can't afford it, because fuel right now is the number one cost for every trucking company and then you got driver wages after that.
A company in Arcadia just went under, closed their doors. God, I can't think of their first name. Isn't that awful? The 22nd or something, same thing. They had driver wages and fuel, and it was a company that had been in the family for 80 some years, and they finally just said, "Got enough." And understandably, now is probably the time to do it. I shouldn't say it out loud, but even that they had 4-year-old equipment, and with the people not being able to get equipment, they probably got the same amount for the equipment that they paid for it 4 years ago.
Right.
So the timing was right.
Yep.
But we're going to see a lot of that, and I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
No, it's always bad when a trucking company goes out of business, no matter how large or small that they are. And I mean, it's basically at the mercy of, the driver's wages and the fuel right now. Because if we would be able to have the fuel prices back down to where they were, 2 years ago,
yeah, exactly.
They wouldn't be struggling as much as they were. And I mean, you really have to watch what you're spending on fuel, and you have to the trucking companies really have to take a look and see who is their quality drivers at some point, because you're paying people over, like you said, $100,000 a year. I mean, you're not going to pay that to just anyone.
Hear it on the radio every day. $100,000 home every night. $10,000 sign-on bonus, $15,000 sign-on bonus paid out over a couple of years or whatever. And sure, we got to find better ways to get drivers. We have to educate each other. I always say we're our own worst enemies, because we don't raise our kids to be drivers, even though we know it's a great occupation. My son didn't go drive truck, and I've been in trucking since he was a little kid, and we need to get our guidance counselors. We need to get into the schools. We need to say, hey, go drive truck. You're not gone for 6 or 8 weeks at a time now, unless you want to be. But there's more family friendly home every night kind of things, and not everybody should go to college and get a liberal arts degree and maybe spend $100,000 and have debt. They can go to truck driving school for 160 hours and pay about $3,000, and have every company will probably reimburse your tuition and give you a sign-on bonus, and you can start making $60,000-$80,000 a year is probably very doable. And again, if you're a good driver and you've worked hard and you have the skills and the skill set, 100,000 is very doable. So we have a call-in number. What does that mean, Jason? Someone trying to call or something? I don't know.
I've got the call-in number out there right now at 608.
I thought you wanted me to call.
No. The call-in number is 608-515-8546. We've been getting some questions from the chat, but if there's people on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, you can also put questions into the chat. But anybody that doesn't want to do that, if they want to call in and ask him a question, you can feel free to do so. So that's why I put the phone number up there. The other thing that I was going to show off is your wonderful I Love Truck t-shirts.
Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, and we got our first phone call, so we'll come back to this.
And there's my shirt. I love trucks.
Okay, Paul, you are on the air with Jason and Kim. I can't hear you. I'm turning you all the way up. Oh, I guess he hung up. I'm sure he's going to be calling back.
All right.
But Kim showed you her shirt, and I just showed you a picture. That is their vice president, right, of the
WMCA. Our vice president, yes.
And so he was there, nice to model the shirt. And then it's real easy. If you want to buy a shirt, just go to ytruck.org. I Love Trucks t-shirts, and you can order one for yourself. And Paul is back.
They come in white or blue?
I just I showed you a picture.
Okay, I can hear you.
Press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Whoa. Why do I have your voicemail, Paul? Anyways.
Yeah, we wanted to...
There's something going wrong with his phone. So, the other thing that I was going to show everybody, and they can go to Whose Road Is It Anyway on YouTube, because you guys worked very, very hard on it, and it was basically a labor of love for you, because you wanted to get something out there that was worth... It was more updated from what was out there.
When I came to this position in 2018, I went with one of the road team captains to visit their school, and they showed the video that they had at the time, and I knew some of the people in the video, and I was like, wow, that guy's got hair yet. And there weren't any cell phones in the video, and there weren't any roundabouts, and there weren't even any 53-foot trailers. That's how old the video was. The video was older than the kids. It says you have to, the video was older than the kids were in the classroom. So I said, we have to have something that's more current that they can relate to. I put it out there, and I gotta thank JJ Keller, our road team sponsor. They were fantastic. They actually took the whole cost of the video, and then we had our road team captains. They were driving. They would, a lot of the stuff that's shown on the video, as far as inclement weather and roundabouts and following too close and the no zone. And I think one of the coolest things is they used a drone. I'm sure they've used a drone, so you could actually see from the driver's mirrors of the car with the drone, you could actually see where the car was and what they could see and what they couldn't see. And that's some pretty impressive technology. And in fact, one of our, I heard Volvo used it when they were showing their mirrorless technology for their trucks.
Awesome.
They put our video to show what was going on. So we were pretty proud of that video.
That's great. And Paul, are you on the air?
I am.
Okay,
can you hear me?
We can hear you. Got that figured
I just
out.
had to. I know. You have a hello. Sorry, I've been watching this whole time. But I'm still watching. I just turned it on mute. Otherwise, it'd be really weird.
Right.
So.
First time, long time.
I know, right? I just wanted to call in and say a joke. What do you call a basement full of truck drivers? A winery.
Oh.
Well, that's not really a question. That's more of a very crude joke, but
that wasn't crude. That's kind of true.
It's mostly true.
hey, it comes from another truck driver, so it's okay to say that.
I know it. Paul was a driver that I met when I went through orientation at Prime Incorporated, and then he went right back to Swift and was a trainer for Swift for 35 million years. But
whatever.
But he's the one that created me into a monster of live streams. So.
Kind of, yes, yeah, no, but no, actually, yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I don't know of anything that's going on in California for driver awareness, anything like what you're doing. So when Jason was involved in that, I was like, wow, I wonder if they even do anything. I've never heard or seen anything here in California, so it's kind of sad that there's, I don't think there's anything going on. I don't know. I'll have to dig in and find more, but I know there's an association, but I've never seen or heard of anything quite like what you guys are doing.
Next week, I'm out in Orlando for the ATA's Safety Management Council. We're getting an award. Wisconsin Motor Carriers getting the Summa Cum Laude Award for their safety programs. And I will personally go look for my California counterpart and find out, Paul. And I will relay the message to Jason. You have my word, I will do that. If they're there.
And she will.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd be curious because I'd like to know what they're, if they're doing anything at all. Because, We need lots of that here. Lots of it.
It takes some coordination. That is true. Back in the day, not
It what?
it takes some coordination, but I know like
My computer froze.
Oh. Okay, I can hear now.
So it takes a little coordination, and it takes really great members of the road team. It takes companies who give up their drivers for a day or 2 days, really, by the time because of their travel time, and they take the truck to the school. We have quick trip drivers. They take donuts too. They love to see them coming, but it takes 2 days out of their work day, but they still go and do it, and that's the commitment that they have to keeping kids safe and keeping the road safe. So I will find out.
And I appreciate the phone call, Paul. I'm going to let you go.
Yep. Awesome. You guys have a good one. Nice
Thank
talking
you,
with you. All right. See ya.
Yep. Bye.
Yeah,
so that was a good one. And we did get a lot of good questions. And we're getting to the point where we're hitting the 1 hour mark, and I like to keep my shows at about an hour.
Excellent.
But I did have 10 misconceptions that I wanted to go through with you, Kim. 10 misconceptions of truck drivers. And I didn't find this on the web. I got this from people that I've spoken to in the past. So this is all just original stuff.
All right.
Here's number 1.
Oh, that is awful. That is a terrible one. Anybody who thinks when you just drive in your car and you see what's going on in your car and then magnify that by 40 times, think of that. But no, there's a lot. There's the custom. If all they had to do was, I always say, if all they had to do was just worry about the drive, it'd be nothing. But it's on the shippers and the receivers end and all the other BS that they have to deal with. The driving is the easy part. Then you don't have to go through Chicago or in Paul's case, I-5 or whatever. That's a huge misconception. Oh my God.
Here's number 2. Truck drivers are uneducated people who can't do any other job.
I have one of my road team captains that is working on his 2nd degree and his 4th language, and that's the norm, not the exception.
He was driver of the year this year.
He was driver of the year, yes.
Yep. And then here is number 3. Truck drivers get paid too much. They have big pockets. They can afford those tickets and those
they always
fines.
think that truck drivers get paid too much and trucking companies make too much, and those are two huge misconceptions.
Right.
That's why they always think that they can.
Most of us are paycheck to paycheck. I mean, I'm completely serious about that because if I was living high on the hog, trust me, things would be. I would have a lot better equipment than I do, for one, and for two, I would probably take a lot more time off. But we don't get paid anything more than what I think we actually get paid, less than what we should be paid. But
well, it goes to the hourly thing.
If
you figured it out hourly and how much you were away from home, that would be a totally different thing. Anybody who says that the drivers get paid too much, they have to go and do that job and see if they're getting paid too much.
Right. Number 4, trucks are going to be replaced by automated trucks and rails, so drivers should just learn another profession. Go learn how to code, driver.
Autonomous trucks are not going to be in your lifetime or my lifetime. They're there. They're very heavy. I don't know if you saw anything. There's the fire truck. I think there's if you Google I'm thinking of something else. Sorry, but if you see how many accidents happened, I know InBev, which is Budweiser, they've been doing the autonomous thing from like Phoenix to LA or somewhere, not out in the desert, not where there's people.
Right.
You see how many. They still have to have somebody in that truck. They still have to have somebody taking care of business all the time. Look how many Teslas, just the car. I'm going back to the car. Just how many Teslas crash because the driver isn't paying attention. And you think a big rig is going to happen? No, it's not. It's like I thought we should. I used to watch the Jetsons when I was a kid. I thought we should have flying cars by now. You know, that's the same. It's the same thing. Autonomous trucks.
Shoot.
Is it stuck? I will tell
Okay.
you, we gotta make sure that everybody knows to come to the truck driving championship too, Jason.
Oh, absolutely. We're gonna get to that as soon as we
Yay.
get. We're gonna get through this real quick.
No worries.
This is from that TV show that was online.
Big Sky or something Sky that
Yeah.
we
on
all we
ABC.
did was we lobbied for them to put a disclaimer in the beginning of it, and they wouldn't do it. And I have boycotted that show and told everybody to boycott that stupid show.
I haven't watched an
No,
episode because
no.
of that.
No, me either. And you know, more of our drivers are TAT trained, Truckers Against Trafficking. They have this.
Yep.
They're trained so that if somebody, it's just the opposite. If somebody has been kidnapped or somebody needs to, they should go and find a driver. A driver is going to help you. Oh my God, you're making my blood boil here, Jason, when I read this stuff.
Okay, so now we're on to number 6. All truck drivers are on drugs and drive longer than they should.
Well, you can go to the clearinghouse. Every driver has to be drug tested. Every driver has to be random drug test, pre-drug. They're tested more than, I guess, all our members of Congress probably should be tested. But our truck drivers are tested. Well, it's what comes out of their mind. But our drivers are tested and tested. They're not on drugs.
Large trucks are dangerous and scary. To let anyone drive one.
But large trucks can be dangerous and scary, and not anybody should just drive one. There's a lot of training involved. Ay, ay,
ay. Number 8, the groups on social media showing the bad drivers in the industry is indicative of the typical driver.
It's the same as like when you live in a small town or you live in some town and the tornado came and the news goes and gets the one woman in her curlers and, you know, always finds that one person and you think, oh, everybody in that town is like backwards. It's the same thing. They just reach the one person.
Truck drivers just park anywhere they want and will trash pretty much any place they park. And I think that part of that is the truck driver's fault because we do not do a good job of cleaning up after ourselves.
I can agree with you in that instance because I used to have to go around the yard and clean up after the drivers who were out there.
I know you did.
And I would try to figure out who parked where because I'm going to find out who's that. Yeah, we don't like people to throw things out no matter what it is. And number 10. Stuck.
Okay, there we go. Truck drivers don't do anything to contribute to society.
Well, look at everything that you have in your home. It was delivered to you by a truck driver. And oh my goodness, I can't even tell you. I can tell you the other thing is every driver, there's probably the exception, but almost everybody that I ever know in the trucking industry, whenever there's been somebody who's had a bad time or something's happened, house fire, died or whatever, you reached out to the drivers and said, hey, we're getting money together for so-and-so. They were the first people to contribute. They're always there to help.
We're usually the first people there and the last people out.
Absolutely. I don't know where people get this stuff from.
So once my computer unfreezes, because it's been doing that on and off throughout this live stream.
So we do have the truck driving championship.
Okay, now we're back.
Oh, thank you, Main Light.
Yeah, he's Christian is Main Light Photo Drone, and he's a very good, dear friend of mine, and he very much respects the truck drivers on the road. Exciting. And pretty much everybody here on the channel does appreciate truck drivers. So basically, the questions weren't for them. It's for all of the other people that are going to watch after this. So But let's talk about the Wisconsin Truck Driving Championships coming up May 20th through May 22nd in Appleton. Are you still looking for volunteers?
Always,
And
always.
what are we going to expect being there?
So this is our first time back since 2019 because of the pandemic. So we're going to have a big celebration, and we have a kids zone. So we have a bounce house and an obstacle course, and they're going to have homemade gelato and a giant Jenga and the resource officer from Grand Chute, a bunch of stuff for kids. Speaking of Teslas, you're gonna be able to have a Tesla experience. You can drive a Tesla, or it will drive you. In the meantime, while you're waiting, there's a lot of wait time while you're waiting for your event, and maybe they're not things to do, but we've got a casino up there, so we got a blackjack table, a roulette table, and a craps table, and you can win. You're not playing with real money. Right. Obviously, but you can win some prizes. We're going to have some door prizes at night. I know that someone's donating a coach purse, so someone could maybe win a purse. So there's a lot of things to do. We have good food. We have break bush chicken. We'll have Birchwood hamburgers. We'll have Johnsonville brats. We'll have America's Food, America's Service Line, Cincinnati Red hot dogs, Quick Trip cookies and donuts and coffee and buns, and we're just going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time, and we're going to celebrate the skills of the drivers. It looks like it's a pretty tough course. Pretty tough course. So Friday night is the written test for the drivers. Drivers can still sign up until May 10th, I believe it is. Friday night is, the sooner you sign up, the sooner you get the book for the written test so you can study and
right.
Questions. So that's Friday night, and then Saturday morning we started off. There's the pre-trip, and then there's we have 3 different classes: 3 acts, 4 acts, 5 acts, sleeper, flatbed, twins, straight truck, tanker. There's 8 different classes. So come on out and show off your skills and have a lot of fun. That night we'll have a banquet. We're planning a pizza and pajama party for kids so that they don't have to be at the boring banquet. We have a supervised movie, chicken nuggets and French fries and pizza for them. So come on out and have a good time. Then Sunday morning is the Breakfast of Champions. So anyone who's been a champion or who won, they'll get to be there the next day and learn what they'll do when they go on to nationals to Indianapolis, where they would compete against all the other drivers in the country.
Now, are you still looking for volunteers?
Always. Anything. We can take volunteers for anything. We have you can be a judge, you can be a timer, you can be a concession person, you can just watch the bounce house. We have something for everybody.
Now, I know that a lot of the people that are watching right now are either out of country or too far away, but there's a few people that are close enough that if they wanted to make a little bit of a drive, they could make it up there as a volunteer. If they wanted to volunteer, just go up to the Fox Valley Technical College or give you a call.
Show up, or on our website for the Truck Driving Championship, there's a place to click on to click to volunteer here. But we would not turn you away if you showed up that day.
That website is ytruck.org. It's right there. It's also where you can pick up your beautiful T-shirts. And Kim, show that again. I love Trucks T-shirts, and they're relatively reasonable price. So go over there, check out their website, see everything that they have available as far as resources go. Kim is going to hey Dave, how are you doing? Coming in right about at the end of the show. Kim, I appreciate you coming on and dealing with me for the past hour. It's really been a pleasure.
Years, Jason.
You have.
And it's always been a pleasure. I'm just going to say, back in the days when you used to video our driver lunches at JBS, you'd video the meetings. It's a good thing that you're doing. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, because you're partly responsible for this, because you took me out of my shell, and now I'm out of it.
Good deal. Good deal.
Thank you so much, Kim. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
How was that, guys? I really hope that you guys enjoyed that. That you got some information. Paul, Kim is going to definitely get back with me on all of that stuff, like the information about whether or not they do road team or any sort of safety programs over there in California. And then as soon as she gets that information, I will send that off to you. But anyways, I appreciate all of you, including new people that have never been here before, for coming along for the ride with me. Make sure that you go to the JJDrones YouTube channel and subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video and share it, because there's a lot of good information out there from the trucking industry. And we'll see you all guys. We'll see you guys later down the road. Bye-bye.